Hello, hello, hello. It's Lisa Copeland, and I am your host for Reinventing the Art of Real Estate. And I am so very excited. As you all know, I've been doing everything real estate since I think July with great business partners like Tarek El Moussa from HGTV, Haas Pratt, the listing boss, Sharon and Michael Lechter of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Outwitting the Devil, you name it, 34 million books later. And Sharon has got a new book out that she has co-authored, but I'm going to let her tell you all about it. And the new book is all about exiting rich. How do you exit rich? And, we're going to talk about the ways that you can build multiple streams of income so that you don't let something like a pandemic get you down. And so it's very exciting. Sharon is considered one of the leading authorities when it comes to financial literacy and building personal wealth and multiple streams of income. I have the honor of calling her one of my very best friends in the whole wide world. Just such a wonderful, terrific lady who just has spent her whole life giving back, teaching, mentoring people on how to exit rich. So I'm going to check out the comments here. Sharon's going to be on in just a minute. What happens when you write a book, you have a lot of people that want to interview you. So she'll be coming in from an interview, but I'm just so darn excited to talk about it. So you guys and gals, share this out, because I'll tell you what, now more than ever, it is very, very important that we get our financial house in order. And I think that many of us have learned from this pandemic, if nothing else, right? If nothing else, we have learned that we need to have multiple streams of income and that we cannot just rely on the one thing. And I'll tell you, no one learned that better than me when I had, a lot of speaking gigs. And you guys know that I'm a professional speaker. Hey, Lisa, that's right. Sharing is caring. Share this out. But I had, I was booked heavier in 2020 than I've ever been booked in my life. I was so excited. I had just done Bloomberg, Citrix, Miracle Ear, and Atlas moving lines in about 3 weeks. Had 20 something gigs lined up for 2020. I was going to live on an airplane, and all of a sudden March 13th hits the pandemic. And now all of a sudden my agent was calling me every single day. Hey, we're canceling. They're rescheduling to 2021. And I was like, what am I going to do? Right? What am I going to do? I can't just sit home and worry about what's going to happen in the world. I need to be productive. So I did what any person would do. I went and got my real estate license. I mean, I've been in the real estate business for 20 plus years. I founded Austin Mortgage Associates. I ran it for many, many years. And then, of course, you all know my story. I left and I relaunched Fiat to America and wouldn't trade any of that for, all the tea in China. But, I found myself thinking, gosh, what am I going to do? I want to be of service. I want to help people. I want to be with people. I don't want to sit in my house. I want to have an essential job. So I went and got the real estate license. I partnered with Tarek El Moussa from HGTV. You guys know him, you guys and gals. Flip or Flop, Flipping 101. He's kind of a famous guy. Haas Pratt, who is one of the top real estate coaches in the world, my very dear friend. He and I had known each other for many years. And I got with those guys and we said, hey, we're going to build world domination. We are going to build an organization that is going to teach people how to build generational wealth. I met my new good friend, Brian Colhane, who is the co-founder of EXP. Of course, I could not go into a big deal like what we went into and not invite my dear friends, Michael and Sharon Lechter in. So, of course, they came in and added just more credibility to our team. Michael being one of the top IP attorneys in the world, and Sharon Lechter being the top financial personal literacy expert in the world. So, we've just built this team of giants, of people that are truly experts when it comes to building wealth, from negotiations, from sales, all of that. So that's what I did during my pivot. What have you all done? And again, we're waiting a couple minutes for Sharon Lechter to be able to come on. In fact, I see this beautiful lady right now. So without further ado, I am going to bring on the co-author of Exit Rich, top financial personal literacy expert in the world, my very dear friend, Sharon Lechter. How about that, Sharon? How are you?
Hello there. I can't hear you. I got to figure this out.
Okay. Well, then we'll just give you a second. All right. So everybody out there, are you sharing this out? Do you want your friends and family, not only yourself, if you're on here, I know you care about what's going on, but do you want your friends and family to exit rich? If you want them to exit rich, you are going to share this out. You're going to tag some friends in it, because now more than ever, it is critical that we build companies and we build our own personal brands to create multi streams of income and generational wealth. So Sharon, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I'm so excited to be with you. It took me a moment. I was on an interview and they had me using different audio stuff. So I had to unplug and replug. And I am not.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous, my dear. Lifestyles of the rich and famous. What else,
It's been crazy, but I'm so excited because Lisa, yesterday, Angela and I talked about this and we said, we're going to be doing this. I want to do something special. So for the people that are really action takers, we're going to, for all the people that pre-order this month in December for exitrchbook.com/buy, if you go through exitrchbook.com/buy.
Hold on, you just keep talking, so I'm going to put that in the comments. Exit Rich
book. No, exitrchbook.com/buy. exitrchbook.com/buy.
And I'm also going to make a banner to that effect.
Yes, that would be great. exitrchbook.com, not
.com. Good grief. See, y'all, I'm telling you, Michael Lechter probably wanted to strangle me yesterday too. I am the worst. www.exitrchbook.com/buy. And
forward/. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, /buy. Let's see if that one, we're going to put that in the chat. So tell us what sort of, okay, that looks better, right?
It looks perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to leave that up during the show because you're going to offer us what? What are you going to offer us for buying that book this month?
So when you go to that site, you're already going to see 4 gifts. But because we're doing this today and we're going to do a couple others next week, everyone that buys through the site, we're going to pick a winner and we're going to give away the 3 days, 2 nights at my ranch, cherrycreeklodge.com.
No way.
Yes.
Okay, y'all, I've been to this ranch. We're talking 40,000 acres. I mean, you feel like you are in the Grand Canyon, and it's unbelievable with cowgirls that take, it's incredible. I mean, that is worth tens and thousands of dollars. Wow. So why did you decide to do that, Sharon?
Yesterday, I was talking to Ange about it and we were doing this together, you and I said, well, I just want to get the momentum. We want to really make sure so many people that own businesses are struggling right now.
Yeah.
They don't really know what to do. And so rather than spending $30,000 for a coach, let's spend $24.79 for a book that's going to give you things that you can do right now to strengthen your business and not just make it more successful, but make it sustainable and scalable. Because, too many of us, a lot of people in 2020 have realized that they were not financially independent enough to survive what happened, that they did not have the systems set up to be able to keep that business running, making money while you sleep, creating a business that can grow and that can scale, that other people want to support and license from you. Those are all things that we want to talk about. And in Exit Rich, my co-author, Michelle Seiler Tucker, is the top female business broker in the country. She's a mergers and acquisition specialist. So she talks about the tactics of how to do that, understanding your people, your profits, your proprietary information. And I come at it from a standpoint of an investor and a mentor. How do we make this attractive to other people if you're looking for money, or if you eventually want to sell, or maybe you want to create a business that can stay in your family for generational wealth, but you have to have the systems and the strength of that business now. So we give you that roadmap. In fact, Steve Forbes, a friend of mine, his comment was, so many business owners end up leaving equity on the table. This book will be a gold mine for entrepreneurs. And so between us, 60 to 70 years of experience with hundreds, if not thousands of businesses, brought down into a synthesis of the things that each person that reads this can find something to do to move forward in their business.
I love it. And so Sharon, for the one person in this Facebook universe that might not know your background, tell everybody, about how you have taught millions of people to build wealth.
Well, and it's, I have been using the tagline the last couple of years, assets are sexy, because it's really what sets me apart from a lot of people that teach about money and finance. And that is, true wealth comes from having income producing assets. The wealthy people around the globe all have one thing in common, assets. And so as we get older, the sexier they become. And that's really, this year has proven to a lot of people, if you're your only asset, if you have to get out of bed, you're in trouble. Yeah. And so I started my career as an accountant. So I have the accounting background. I started writing books with talking children's books and a woman's magazine. And then my oldest son went off to college and got into credit card debt back in 1992. And that's really December of 92 is when I dedicated the rest of my career to financial education, financial literacy, and entrepreneurial education. And I'm as passionate about it today as I was back then, because we're not teaching our kids about money in school.
That's right.
And that needs to change. But in the interim, we need to teach ourselves and we need to teach our children. So that really started my journey in 96 is when I met Robert Kiyosaki, and we wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad together, started that company together. We were partners for 10 years. We did 15 books together, and that went around the globe. And when I left the Rich Dad organization is when I got the call from President Bush to be on the first Presidential Advisory Council of Financial Literacy, which was a huge opportunity. I served Bush and Obama. And then I got the call from the Napoleon Hill Foundation during the crash of 2008, asking me to help reinvigorate the teachings of Napoleon Hill. And so I've had the incredible honor of not just building the largest personal finance brand, but stepping in to reinvigorate the largest personal development brand. And I just love working with Don Green of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I've done 3 Feet from Gold, Outwitting the Devil, Think and Grow Rich for Women, Success and Something Greater, in which Lisa Copeland is highlighted.
Yes, I am chapter 2 in that book, everybody. So buy it, please.
I have a couple of others that are in the works that I'm pretty excited about. But Exit Rich came about because Michelle is in the business of business brokering, and she wanted to share what she knew, and she knew that combining our efforts, that power of association, would make a bigger bang and create a higher level of value. Because she talks about what needs to be done, I talk about the why and how to potentially set yourself up for potential buyers as well as investors. And so together, it's an incredible journey through the book, and really how to take control of your financial life. And it was originally supposed to come out in April, and then we know the world stopped. And so it was delayed till January. But I said, I like to shake things up. My husband and I, we've kind of turned the publishing world upside down a couple of times. And so now we're doing it again. So the book was released January 26th. So, but if you pre-order today, you'll get the electronic version right away. And then we'll still send you the book in January. And it's cheaper. It's $24.79 at exitrichbook.com/buy. That includes the postage. So we want you to have the information. We want you to get energized. So I challenge you all to go ahead and do that and buy it for some friends. And then, because it is holiday time.
I was going to say, it's the holiday season.
For every book you buy, you'll be entered into the drawing for a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the ranch.
Oh my gosh. And I see Megan DiMartino, she posted the ranch. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Cherry Creek. No, somebody, Angela, if you'll post the website to the ranch, that would be amazing. So everybody can see the amazingness of the Lechter Ranch. And Sharon, I tell you, as always, you're at the forefront of everything. And it's brilliant that you bring it out now, because I know that, like, as we speak, my next phone call is with part of our real estate team on forecasting for 2021, right? Because how do you plan for massive success without a massive success plan? So that was brilliant that you've now written the book, as you always seem to be very timely with what you write, that you've written the book on how to help people pivot out of this pandemic And so I want to ask you, because, my show is Reinventing the Art of Real Estate. I want to talk about exiting rich in real estate. Do you mind pivoting a bit? I don't believe that's the premise of the book, but you are certainly an expert when it comes to real estate and it comes to, building generational assets. I mean, I think about one of your personal ones is the Cherry Creek Lodge, which I've been to many times. And y'all, I mean, there is no words for this place. When you go there, there's just no words. Like my husband's always like, don't you think Sharon and Michael need us to come, like, I don't know, go to the ranch or something? Like, we just live to go up there, as does everybody. And it's unbelievable. So talk about, because I know that is one of your generational assets, is your Cherry Creek Lodge, your ranch. Because you talked about it.
Yeah, real estate is a business. Like say, each individual piece of property is a business.
Yeah.
And you're collectively your real estate investments is your real estate company, is your business. And so it absolutely is pertinent to what we're talking about. You want to have the right people on your team. You want to make sure you build it in so you have cash flow and profits to it. You want to understand the systems that you use to be able to scale what you're doing in real estate. So definitely, when you want to really reinvent the world of real estate, you have to do it as a business and understand that it's very important. And certainly during these times of low interest rates,
yes.
Oh my gosh, grab it while you can.
Yes.
And yes, you want to look at the numbers, because that's good debt when you get into rental real estate, as long as you can rent it and the renter is paying you more than what you have to pay for the mortgage and the expenses. That's good debt. And so it's very important to know how to build your wealth, because a lot of the wealthiest people in the world created their wealth through real estate, but even more importantly, they hold their wealth in real estate. So they may
have your property. I mean, because I think that's the perfect example. The Cherry Creek Lodge, like, it is generational. You have told me how it will go down through the generations, through your family and your grandkids and your great grandkids someday. But it's also an income producing property. It is a working cattle ranch. You have guests that come pay a lot of money to stay there because it's amazing. And I've been there many times when your paying guests are there and they walk around in awe. And so, but then you have your friends at the same time. So it's like the most brilliant real estate model I've ever seen. You've got the cows, you're selling cattle, you've got paying guests, you're able to entertain your friends, you're building equity, and someday it'll stay in your family forever.
Well, that's right. I mean, when you have to walk the talk, right? So Mike my husband of 40 years wanted 10 acres somewhere, a survival property. And we found this place 15 years ago and fell in love with it, but it was a whole lot bigger than 10 acres. So it's 300 acres of deeded land, but 40,000 acres of grazing rights in the middle of the Tonto National Forest. It's completely off the grid. It's all solar power. We have our own well water. And so we became, I said, okay, if we're going to invest this kind of money, which is a lot of money, we need to turn this into an asset. And so overnight we became ranchers. People come to the ranch and they see cows. I see assets, because those mamas give me babies every year. And we built the lodge so that we have a guest opportunity for people to come, and they can either come as a family retreat. They can just rent out a single room. They can come with board members. They can do business retreats, coaching.
You're always doing business retreats up there. I see you.
Yeah, I do 3 or 4 a year of business retreats there, or we take our clients up there, because it is a little piece of heaven, and we love it, and we can share the history. It's got a lot of history. The Pleasant Valley War was fought, and one of the main battles was on our property, and we still have grave sites marked by the Forest Service, and we've found 100, 200-year-old bullets, that kind of thing. So it's an incredible experience, but it's also a time to kind of check in with nature. If you're having problems or struggles, you come there and you see the vastness of God's beauty, and all of a sudden you realize, okay, I can handle this. I can get through this. And so, but at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure that we loved it. We wanted to keep it in our family, but we had to turn it into something that could become an asset and generate revenue for us.
Because you always walk your talk. You and Michael also own, not that I'm trying to give away the Lechter financial portfolio, but you and Michael also own investment properties in Scottsdale. and even your own home, you have figured out how to leverage that, your beautiful estate, I should say, you have figured out how to leverage that into your business, right? And using it as a working asset. So for those of you out there, again, the one in the universe that may not know Sharon Lechter, she absolutely walks her talk on how to build assets and to exit rich. Now, what do you think about the saying that you cannot put your U-Haul on a hearse, that you should just spend it all now because, you can't take it with you? What would your comment to that be? I heard it. I was coming home from Dallas late last night and I heard that song and I thought, I'm going to ask Sharon about that tomorrow on our interview. When they say you can't take it with you, go ahead, spend it all.
Well, there's different ways to look at that statement. And that is, are you spending it just to spend it and get rid of it? Or are you making a contribution and making the world a better place? Do you have children and grandchildren that you want to create legacies for them to continue forward? Our ranch is a perfect example. We want to make sure we put in trust resources that can maintain that so that it doesn't become a burden to our children, but an asset and something that is of value that can bring them joy, not stress. And so there are a lot, you hear that statement, Lisa, and you immediately can go to greedy people who are just spending their money and can't take it with you. Yeah, well, some people want to leave a legacy, and so they can use their money to create that legacy now. So that's a good aspect from that.
Right.
Some people who don't have heirs, they don't have children, they want to be able to make an impact while they're still here to see it and enjoy it. And so every statement can be looked at from a positive perspective and a negative perspective. And so only the person listening to me right now can determine, are you going to look at that statement from a positive perspective or a negative perspective? And then ask yourself, why did I default to negative when I could have looked at it from positive perspective?
So taking you back to your young CPA days, you'd gotten out of college and you became a CPA. So you've obviously always liked numbers. You've always kept your CPA. And of course, you and Michael are dear personal friends of mine. So I love listening to you go back and forth about things sometimes. I'm like, the CPA is talking to the attorney. That right there is like $1,000 a minute conversation, right? And there's that too sometimes. But that being said, do you think that young CPA, did you ever imagine back then, did you have aspirations to become the leading personal financial literacy guru in the world? Like, did you ever think it back then? Or was it life circumstances that brought you through it and then you just kept going?
Well, yes and no. My 8th grade English teacher told me I would be a famous writer and speaker one day. I thought she was crazy because I was
nailed that one.
I was heading to be a math teacher. So, and then my sorority house mom told me that I would be speaking on stage. So it's those things kind of got planted in my brain. But when I did not realize until I got out into the real world as a CPA that everybody didn't have the same kind of upbringing that I did, because I was raised in a very entrepreneurial home. I was raised in a little house between my mom's beauty shop and my dad's used car lot. I was raised with my parents had rental properties. We had orange groves. So it was just, I understood the power of entrepreneurship, the power of assets, income producing assets. But I also saw my dad getting up in the middle of the night to go fix toilets. So I swore I'd never be an entrepreneur until I got out into the real world, working ungodly hours as a public accountant, and realized that if I was going to work that hard, I'd rather be working for myself than someone else. And that's when my parents started looking a whole lot smarter. And then as I continued, that was 25 to 30. And then I realized people just don't get it. We're trained to be employees, to work for a paycheck. And if you want something more, you want to ask for overtime or you want to get a second job, instead of understanding the power of investing your time, not spending your time for a paycheck, but investing your time in buying, building, and creating income producing assets. Because once you create it and build it, it becomes an economic engine for you that stays forever. And so it was really sobering to me to understand how few people understood that. And that was probably late 80s, early 90s, when I launched the Talking Children's book, when I was working with a lot of very rich people, realizing that they didn't get it either. You know, they were making a lot of money, but if their paycheck had stopped, they were going to be hurting. And then in 92, when our oldest son got into credit card debt, I was livid. I thought I had taught him what my parents taught me, but he hit college and got given, you know, credit cards. Here's free pizza, free money, free t-shirt, free money. And he had a really good time his first semester. But that was December of 92 when it really woke me up in a really dramatic way, how little people understand about money. And at the end of the day, you either control your money or your money controls you. And way too many people are controlled by their money and their debt.
Right. And it's more the debt that controls you than the money itself. And, it makes a happy life a miserable life. And so I love that, you've spent your career doing that. So tell us, what would be the one thing right now, these people that are watching, first of all, if you're just tuning in or if you're catching the replay, I've got Sharon Lechter, the author of Exit Rich. And we're talking about, generational wealth, legacy. Sharon has put out an incredible offer to pre-purchase her book at exitrichbook.com/buy. For every book you buy, you're going to get an entry ticket to a drawing to go to her ranch, her 40,000 acre ranch in the Tonto Forest in Arizona. Unbelievable. I've been there many, many times. And so what would be the one thing that you would tell people right now that they can get started? Oh, and share this out, people. If you've not shared this out, this is good stuff. Share this out.
And post in the comments, I bought the book. I bought the book. I bought the book.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know that you bought the book. Let us know that you're going to buy the book. It's the holiday season. This is the best book. This is the best $25 you could ever spend, or that you could gift to somebody. I'm going to buy several copies for my family members, because it is critical, that we teach our kids what to do and how to preserve the assets, Sharon, that we're going to leave them, right?
The co-founder of EXP just bought 10 copies, so I'm going to go.
Yes, Brian Colhane, you're only 38,000 copies short, since we just hit 48,000 agents. And I'm sure Brian is on here watching, or he's going to share it out into the Colhane groups. But that being said, what is the one thing that you would tell people that are catching the replay, that are jumping on right now, besides share this, buy a book? What would be that third thing you would tell them as we start going into 2021 with, frankly, Sharon, what is going to be a lot of our new normal? I believe that a lot of what we have endured, have seen, whatever, and that we're conditioned to, is our new normal going into 2021.
Well, the issue is, are you going to take advantage of opportunities that are presenting themselves to us right now? Or are you going to let them pass you by? And because if you want something different in your life, you need to make those choices. And we're giving you the opportunity to find those choices to make. There's never unprecedented low interest rates. All right. There's no doubt at some point we're going to see inflation. So get in now while you can, so that you can start looking and getting those real estate properties that are income producing. Allow yourself, yes, some of the prices are getting pretty high. So you have to work the numbers, and you have to look at it. You have to have the right people on your team. In Central Texas, that's Lisa Copeland, understanding how best to invest that and don't do it on your own. That's the power of association, understanding the opportunities that are right before you. And now there's never been a better time than today, because today's gone tomorrow. And so make sure you take the opportunity to educate yourself. Do that by reading the book, but take action. Don't sit back. Too many people want to put their head in the sand because they're afraid of what's happening in the world. But you know what? When this kind of thing happens, there is opportunity galore. I mean, there are a lot of people that may be losing their homes in the next 6 months. They need somewhere to live. So right. You can provide that opportunity. You can help them and help yourself in the process, and create something that can be an ongoing asset for you.
Well, Celeste, who is on my real estate team, she's on my team, and she says she's buying the book now for herself, as well as her 20-year-old daughters that are beautiful twin, Sherry Matthews. You know she's going to buy copies for everyone she knows. And so Celeste, I think if you just jumped on, for every book you buy, you get the opportunity to have your name put into the hat to stay 3 days, 2 nights at the Cherry Creek Lodge, which is unbelievable that you all are doing that, Sharon, over a $25 book. I mean, let's be real. That's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of value, and priceless when it comes to the value of the experience of staying up there with the lectors. Sherry Matthews wants to know, what about crypto?
What about crypto? Well, there is no doubt that the cryptocurrency is here to stay into the future. It is now getting into the transition within the last month or so. The banks have been given the permission to deal with that. The issue there is knowledge. All right, there's a lot of people out there providing information and investment opportunities that are not legit. And so it's very important that you educate yourself and you find the right people to learn from. And understand, I would not put anything that you need to live on in cryptocurrency. But if you have money that you can put in and play with house money when it goes up a little bit, there's no doubt. I tend to look at the industries supporting crypto, like blockchain. I look for things that industries that support it rather than the actual Bitcoin itself. But that's me personally. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of risk, and there's a lot of shysters. And so you've got to make sure you educate yourself so you can identify the opportunity over the shysters.
Well, and Sherry and her husband, Adam, they're both very astute investors. And Megan DiMartino says that she is buying books for me and for gifts. So just keep buying them up, everybody. So Sharon, I mean, I so appreciate you coming on here today and just talking about, I mean, what a great name. And I'll have to tell you about a meeting I was in last night with another very famous author. And when he asked what you were up to, I said, well, her latest book is Exit Rich. And he goes, God, I wish I would have thought of that name.
Well, we need to ask him to help promote it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. So anyways, thank you so much for coming on here. Does anybody have any questions for Sharon before we sign off? I know that she's back to back on interviews, and so I want to save her energy just a little bit. But if you're catching the replay, if you've got people out there that need to exit rich, you're like, oh my gosh, she said something that they need to hear. Please tag them in this. Tag them in this, share it out to your Facebook. Like, this is good stuff. We are in a very, very critical time, both in our country, in our financial state, in our everything, right? And going into a new year with a whole new set of operating principles, in my opinion. Again, I think a lot of my personal opinion, I think a lot of what we have seen in the last 6 months is going to continue into 2021, and it's just going to be how we deal with it. So Sharon, if you had one more book of yours, I have the one in my mind, I would say, about coping with what's gone on. What would be one more of your books that you would recommend to order with? Because you had a book bundle also at one point that was like, what?
If you go to SharonLechter.com, there is a book bundle that's like, I don't know, $120 worth of books for 67. I don't know. Angie can put it in the comments. But there's a youth bundle that's $150 worth of products for 67, I think. And there's a book bundle, same thing, for the holidays. And I will sign them, so we'll get them out. And there's still time within the next couple of days to do that. So you go to SharonLechter.com for those holiday bundles. And certainly if you wanted another book, it would be Outwitting the Devil, how to deal with the fear, how to get past it. And I know, Lisa, you and I,
it's my favorite book
that we're doing. And I think it's so important for us to understand we all have to take control of our fears and turn them into action and take action. And then I wanted to share with you Tom Hopkins' comments. It's so hard to see business owners fail and lose money because of poor planning. So we talk about planning for 2021, right? I would recommend Exit Rich to every business owner, even if they're not currently thinking of selling, because it talks about how to structure business, how to build it, how to add value to it. And so we've got some of the top people.
Plan to sell. Like, you have to build assets and you have to build your business where it's scalable. And even if you're not planning to sell for 5 or 10 years, there's a roadmap to get it to where somebody's going to want to buy it at full value for your exit rich strategy. And of course, that's a huge compliment from Tom Hopkins, probably the leading sales guru in real estate. And he's number one. I was at your house. Was it last year for your birthday?
For my birthday last year.
Yeah, your birthday last year. And I mean, we laughed because there was more billionaires in one room than I've ever been in. That's for darn sure. But of course, I see Tom Hopkins across the room, and I just like beehived it over there and just hung out with him and his wife the whole night because he's just a personal hero of mine. Anybody who has ever sold anything in their life is in the real estate industry or in the automotive industry. You know who Tom Hopkins is. He is the Zig Ziglar, the unbelievable guru. And so just
and an incredible man.
He's a dear friend of yours. I know. He loves you.
Incredible.
Yeah. And Sherry's saying 3 feet from gold. She says I love 3 feet from gold. I will not lie, but Outwitting the Devil is so like, I can almost tell you what page, where to go to, where to start. I've read it so many times.
Hi, Sherry.
Yeah. Sherry says that this book needs to be a platform. Sherry, are you talking about the Exit Rich book or are you talking about Outwitting the Devil? But probably Exit Rich, because Sherry and her husband, Adam, are both very astute investors. They study the markets, they study the stocks. And so it's so important. Sharon,
if you're looking at investing in businesses, this is also a great way for you to analyze that business. You go through and you look through the guideline at Exit Rich and you say, okay, do they meet these criteria? Are they really paying attention to this? Are they structuring their business properly? So whether you're building your own business or you're looking to invest in a business, it's an incredible resource tool.
I love it. I love it. Sharon, thank you so much as always for, giving and sharing of your incredible wealth of knowledge and wisdom. That's something I love about you. You give so much away. You give away so much of your knowledge, and you've helped millions of people around the world, literally, create generational wealth and multiple streams of income. So if you have not put on your Christmas list Sharon's bundle of books, which you can get at SharonLechter.com, and then the Exit Rich book, you need to, because that's what your people and your friends and your family need to be reading going into 2021. They need to get off of Netflix and all of the housewife shows, and they need to be reading about how to build wealth. Sharon,
and you want to do it from people who've been there, done that.
Yeah. Oh, let's see who've actually done it versus people that just get on and talk about it and have never done anything in their lives. Those people, is that who we're talking about here?
A lot of those people around. We got to find credibility, right? Find the credibility, somebody that's been there, done that. And Michelle has bought and sold thousands of businesses, and I have helped millions of businesses create value and sold a few myself. So we want the value of what we've learned to be translated through this book so everybody can help you.
Perfect. Thank you. Again, thank you, Sharon. Thank you, everybody out there. Share this out, tag a friend, and we'll see you next week on Reinventing the Art of Real Estate. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.